I was hired in July, and then we started piecing together, hiring job coaches, putting those in place, and we had to start selecting students to see who was the best fit for the program. And that was a collaboration between me and other teachers, and we put together the best fit students that we thought that would really need the job coaching, would need a work-based learning, plus with a job coach to help them to be able to succeed and find a job. And so when we pieced that together, and we had to make, first we had to find businesses for them to go to. So we had to make those business connections and come up with a work schedule that they were going to do. And you had to find transportation. There's all these hurdles that we were kind of throwing together. We first, in July, when the program was first handed to me, we didn't have any of this really in place. So we had to come up with a game plan of how we were going to do that. We got the ball rolling. We started sending these kids out to work, and we were sending the job coaches out with them, and taking them out to their work sites. And it was just, over time there were some hurdles that we hit, some obstacles, but we wanted to get the kids out there. We thought we need to get them out there as quick as we can and get them out to the work sites, and we knew that it'd just be a learning curve as we went, and we jumped those hurdles when we came across them. The students that are going to participate in this program are students who are going to need a work readiness specialist or a job coach to help them learn the job skills. That these students are ones that would maybe struggle a little bit going out on their own and getting the job on their own, and learning the training by themselves. One, we look at their age. They have to be 16 years of age or older, and we look at who are those students who are getting ready to graduate, who are actually going to step out into the they're going to graduate and they're going to step out into the workforce right away as soon as May hits, when graduation gets here. And we really want to target those students and make sure that they were targeted first, and make sure we found them a place to go to get those work skills and training right away, so before it was too late, before they graduated. We kind of just, as a collaboration, got together with the teachers, some of the other special education teachers, and found out who was their highest need, whether their age, who was getting ready to graduate, who's going to need that work readiness specialist to be there with them to help them give the job skills they need, help them learn on the job skills, work-based learning skills. And then once we found those students that were best fit for that, those are the ones that we targeted. We start them off by giving them what we think will fit them best, and then we observe and evaluate. We realize that, okay, we thought that maybe they weren't capable of doing this position, but they actually might be. And so that's when we'd say, all right, let's give them a shot at it. And if it doesn't work out, then we'll back off a little bit. Maybe they're not ready for that yet. And so we'll give them a different job task that they are ready for. And it's all just, we just take and observe and evaluate. And that's what's so important about those work readiness specialists, that they're there on the site with those students every single day. They can observe and evaluate, and then they come back to me and say, hey, this student, I really think they need a new challenge. They're ready for something different. And then we try to set that up for them. They're very valuable to the program because this is how we get the students to and from work every day. This is also, they're the ones that provide the training for the students on the job. The work readiness specialists actually get the training from the business. They get trained just like if they were an actual employee. And then they train our students when they come. And they relay that information down, give them all the training that those students need. And then so the work readiness specialist knows how to do the job and knows how to do it efficiently. So they're training these students just like they were, and treating them just like they're regular employees. So when they come to the job, the students are wearing their uniforms just like they were if they were working there, and they're getting trained, getting coached, treated just like a regular employee. And then the supervisors and the managers there on site at the businesses and the coworkers, they treat our students in the same way.
You got this.
Wednesday,
so what are we going to do today?
clean.
And that's your crew, so we're going to clean all the carts.
They treat them just like they're regular employees there. And so those work readiness specialists are very valuable because we don't want to burden the businesses by putting kids on them and having them work with our students all the time. And basically, we felt like that if we just sent our students out with those businesses, that they might end up being just a shadow. They would just kind of follow people around, not actually get to see what it's like to be a real employee. So with the work readiness specialists, they're kind of that liaison to find out what the work tasks are and show the students how to go to their supervisor, find out what work tasks they need to do that for that day, and then help them along with that process. And over time, that work readiness specialist starts to back off and allow that student to be more independent, just like they were if they were going to be on their own holding a job by themselves. Well, one thing that I think helps us be really successful in making those business partnerships is that I expand on the partnerships that we already have within the school. The high school we have so many partnerships with businesses already through our athletics and through our different clubs that we have here. And I want to utilize those relationships that we already had and expand on those and go further on those partnerships. So that's where I started at, really, was with the relationships that we already had, and went out and I talked with those businesses that were maybe already helping our special education department. We're already sponsoring some of our clubs, sponsoring some of our athletics. And we already had a good relationship with, and I networked with people that already had relationships with them, and those people were kind enough to bring me out and introduce me to those people and be able to start that relationship with them and tell them about our program.
Our store's actually had some at-work kids for a few years now. I was actually at this store about 2 years ago, and they would come for about an hour a day, and we would only have just a couple of kids. And so whenever they got this opportunity, Ben came in and talked to me and asked me if this is something that I would be willing to do on a larger scale, and we talked about what it would entail as far as the kids, and I immediately agreed to it. Obviously, I think it's just such an awesome chance for these kids.
I do make a couple cold calls where I'll go out and I'll show up at a business I think it's a good fit for our students to learn a valuable set of work skills. I may just show up and just ask to speak with the manager and talk with them. Or I may give them a phone call and just ask if I can meet with them for a few minutes, and I'll show up. And I've had several of those conversations. But the most success that I've had is just building upon the relationships that we already have within the school system already. As we've expanded out into those 3 businesses that we started off with, I use those businesses to help partner with other businesses too in the community that they had connections with. For instance, the Food City. We were already at Food City. Well, they had a need at another Food City in downtown, so we were able to make that relationship there. We have several. I even use our students. We have several students and athletes here at school. Their parents are managers at different businesses throughout our community, and we use those students to get connections with their parents and talk with them, and start establishing those relationships. There's several businesses that we've made relationships with and started that foundation. We haven't actually had students out there to work yet, but that's what we're building upon. We just as this program grows and we get more work readiness specialists, we get more students, the more businesses you're going to see our students in.
Looking back at where we were this time last year, we were still wondering if it was going to get approved or not. And so thinking about, like I said, where we're at now is just, it's pretty remarkable. The community support has made it, I'm an outsider looking in now, but incredibly easy, because we really haven't found any resistance. I mean, most of the places that Ben has approached are incredibly willing. They look forward to our kids coming. They're a benefit, and they see the benefit.
When we first started, we had we had 3 work sites that we were going to, and then we added another one throughout the fall. Then we added another one at the end of this the semester, right around Christmas time. So now we have 5 different work sites, and that was just. We're continuing to grow. We added more students as we went. We started off with, I believe around, about 12 students, and we started adding some as we went along. We had a couple new students transfer in that were older students we thought would be a best fit. We also realized that we could add a couple more in and get a new work site, so we started adding some more of those students in. So it's just done nothing but grown. One thing that we have done as time has went on also is that we've kind of let a couple of the students rotate. They were saying, if you worked at Walgreens, you worked at Walgreens 5 days a week, and that's where you went. And now we have a couple of students that maybe work at Walgreens 3 days, go to Golden Corral a couple other days. We want them to develop a diverse set of work skills. And we feel like that if they can get some experience at multiple job sites, that's going to make them a better employee, because they're learning more work skills that way. I think a lot of people think that our students are just going back there and just doing manual labor, and they're just washing dishes. But it's more than that. You got to set up the dishwasher. You have to learn how to manage multiple tasks at one time. You got to be able to get the pots and pans and put them in the right order and be efficient with it. Also taking in the plates and the silverware, and make sure you have a routine that's managing all those tasks, and be able to get the stuff back to the kitchen cooks, to get the stuff back to the waiters and waitresses. Getting everything that they need to be able to prepare the food for the day. So there's several job tasks that are involved there. At Food City, our students start off with bagging groceries. That's the baseline where we start off at. Then they they do some cleaning tasks. And then when they master that, we even have students go into the bakery, into the floral department. So as they learn those job tasks and they have shown that they can master those job tasks, we start to give them more challenging job tasks. And they kind of rotate back and forth. They'll still bag, but then they may one day go back into the dairy department. They may one day go back into the floral department. The next day they may be back in the bakery. And so we're trying to give them more challenging job tasks every single day and mix it up so that they know what it's like to handle not just one job task, but multiple job tasks.
Don't be scared to start the process. You'll be surprised very quickly how kids grow once they get to the job site. Once they find something they like, you will immediately start to see gains, not only in their work skills, but in their social interaction, their behavior. We've found kids that have a hard time behaving in the classroom. When they step on a job site, it's a totally different kid. It's a different person. I think it's partly because kids who historically have had a lack of success in the classroom, when they step into a job where there's something that they can be successful at, we see that their whole demeanor changes. They immediately are introduced into a new world where failure is not something that they're seeing every day, and that's something that's pretty neat to witness.
Our students surprised us, to be honest with you. We thought that they weren't going to be able to do a lot of the job tasks that they were given on the job, so we kind of almost coddled them a little bit in holding their hand, making sure they were doing everything right, and we realized that that was kind of frustrating them, and we also realized that when we weren't there, if we had to step away from it, the work readiness specialist had to step away to help another student, that it was almost like the students got used to the work readiness specialist being there and helping them, and we realized that those students need to learn how to be more independent, that we need to kind of take a step back and let them try that job task on their own and see whether they can succeed or fail and where they need help at. We don't really know where they need help at without just taking a step back and observing them to see what they actually can do on their own. And they really surprised us, and we realized how much they were capable of doing on their own, and that we realized also that we're not always going to be here for them. When they graduate, they're going to be on their own, and they need to learn what that feels like to be on their own, to know when they need to take their breaks, to know when it's time to go to the next job task, to know when it's time to clock in or clock out. They need to know how that feels and what that's like, and we can't always be there to do that with them. So it's good for us to take a step back sometimes and observe them and just evaluate them. And we have a daily evaluation we keep on our students. And we give them a score of 1 to 10 of how well they did on certain job tasks or certain areas that we would think that would be desirable for an employee. And we grade them on those. And at the end of the week, we go over those scores with them and let them know, this is where you were doing really well at, this is where you need to work on. And we talk about that, and the students write in their journals in our morning workshop. They write in their journals about the things that they need to work on, what they can improve on. And then they take that as a focus with them to work that week. When they go back the next week, they know, okay, I need to work on being more efficient at the job. I need to be able to bag a little quicker. And so that's what they focus on. They keep their focus on, and there might be a new challenge next week. So we've realized there's those little hurdles and challenges as we've gone on of how we need to be maybe more hands-on with certain job tasks, and at times when we need to back off. I think also some obstacles have been trying to find the right fits for our students at the different business sites. And that's why I said that at first we were allowing our students just to go, that they were going 5 days a week at the same job site. And we realized that some of these students were ready for a new challenge, were ready for a new diverse set of work skills. And so we're kind of letting a few of them rotate out into different work sites now and getting some new challenges and new set of work skills.